Hello and welcome to the 2023 Las Vegas Challenge, presented by Innova. This is the first stop of the Disc Golf Pro Tour, an Elite Series event. I'm Holly Finley.
And I'm Conroe O'Reilly. And I'm super excited to be here joining you guys all season alongside Holly with Ace Run Pro at every single Elite stop this year. We had a cold day today. This morning when the ladies played, we're looking at mid to upper 30s, a lot of wind, maybe a little precipitation here and there, but it was pretty dry throughout the day. And here we have a look at Ohn Scoggins. I believe she's the highest rated FPO player in the field currently. Very good putter, so if she can get herself close to the basket, look for her to be attacking. Here we have Hailey King. Also highly rated, very powerful thrower, so she should be able to cut through the wind with some overstable plastic.
Kat Mertsch has really elevated her game in the last 2 years, now a member of Innova's star team. And rounding out this card, we have Jessica Weese. She's actually won the LVC before.
And Innova getting some strong representation on their feature card at their tournament, as they should. Starting off on hole 1, we have a par 3, 233 feet. You're gonna have a hazard playing in front of the basket that if you do land in, you will have to putt through with an extra stroke. So the key here is just to get enough distance, but you don't want to go too long, because if you put yourself circle's edge short, now all of a sudden that putt's kind of scary to run. So definitely a hole you want to put it close, give yourself an easy putt to start the season.
We recently saw Ohn Scoggins as a captain at the All-Stars. She's starting us off here. Sending a nice shot right side. She'll have a long putt at it. Kind of scary going towards the OB.
Yeah,
but I don't think Ohn's scared of any putt.
Yeah, she's lethal on the putting greens. I've seen her in practice sometimes just whipping putt after putt, and it's very impressive.
Hailey King taking that right side hyzer line, but she looks like she might be out of bounds.
Yeah, push
or
her
in
into
the
that
hazard,
big,
if you will.
that big bush or palmetto, and have to deal with either a tricky lie or an extra stroke.
That bush has teeth. I do not recommend going over there.
If you actually make your way into some of these bushes and trees throughout this course, I learned from bad experience today, there's times where it's hard to even get into your lie.
Kat Mertsch, that just dropped, and that was so lucky if it's in bounds. It looked like it was going to be in the sand, and then it got a last-minute wind gust over those bushes.
In a tailwind like that, where your danger is short, you really have to put a little bit of height on the disc and let the wind suck it out of the air. All these players are probably throwing overstable putters at this distance, and Jessica always shows how strong she is with the forehand, choosing a little flex over shot. And with as much power she put on that, it looked like she was looking to play it pretty safe, and the fast ground out at this golf course just coming back to bite her. That's going to be
She's gone to circle 2 on hole 2.
I don't think that's a very common spot you'll see out here. And yeah, she's going to have to warm up her approach game here, which if she executes could be good for the rest of the course.
It's a putt. This is Ohn for her birdie.
And even Ohn Scoggins.
She didn't even want a piece of that.
One of the most lethal putters on the FPO side. And
to see her lay up is telling you something.
Yeah, sometimes when you have that headwind putt that you can't quite tell if it's off the right shoulder or not, it can be really scary as a right-handed putter. Hailey looks like not only has to take that hazard stroke, but also has to putt out of the
Wow, Hailey King, what a putt. Sweet, our first run back of the season.
There's that first Flight Factory run back of the season for y'all.
The Flight Factory run back. I love that. Thank you, Flight Factory, for sponsoring these. Hailey, wow, that was impressive.
Ooh, Jessica just, not quite enough turn on that thing to let it drop.
Ooh, that was a good par save from Kat. She ended up in the hazard, so she was actually putting a 3 from that lie.
Yeah, she showed some good trust in her putt there. Using that hyzer angle, using the wind to kind of lift it and swing it. You got to really be a confident putter to make a putt like that.
I feel like Jessica was the, the only one to use a sharp-edged disc on this hole, and we saw how far she went compared to the other ladies.
Yeah, we'll see if she makes an adjustment for that round 3. First tee of the season, sometimes you got a little bit extra juice. You got to...
The tournament juice.
Yeah,
it's real.
It's real.
Let's check out hole 2. The wind here is definitely a factor, as it is with any hole on this course, but this tee box is kind of guarded. So what you feel in the teeing area is not what's happening throughout the fairway or on the green. A lot of the ladies, especially on this card, can reach this hole, so I wouldn't be surprised if they got a 2, but there's absolutely no shame in just playing a little shorter or over to the right side, pitching up and taking a par.
Yeah,
if you're going to do a layup, I feel like landing your layup in the proper position is very important as well.
Yeah, there's a couple bushes to navigate, so I think you can't just be vague. You got to be specific and hit a good spot. And we have that raging left to right wind that's just pulling these discs out of the air and making it really tricky. Like you said, attackable distance most of the time, but with this wind situation, even for a player like Hailey King, it's proven to be pretty difficult.
Kat Mertsch, also a very long thrower. I've seen her in several distance competitions. Oh, look at that slide. That was like air hockey. I love that. Yeah, she's up there for a putt.
Gonna have a nice left to right there. Drop the putter. Good putt to make 2 in a row. Get her round going. Jessica using that wind for the skip back at the end, and she gets some really good distance on that forehand there. Good correction from hole 1. Or maybe she kind of threw the same type of shot, but this time the distance was right.
Ohn looking just to lay up and get as close as possible.
Something to note is the bullseyes on the course were installed a little larger than they were supposed to be, so they're going to be sitting around 5 meters, about 15, 16 feet. They are going to adjust those going forward, so they will be more right at the typical 3 meters, 11 feet that we're used to seeing.
Weese for birdie from the knee. She gave it a good loft. Should be a fairly simple par putt for her.
Yeah, I feel like Jessica's one of those players who uses different putts for different situations more than most players. She'll kind of do that floaty hyzer, or she'll go with the anhyzer.
That was a lucky sit down.
Yeah, anytime you're slow rolling and it's this windy and you're on a fast course like a golf course out here at LVC, it gets a little scary.
Solid putt from Ohn Scoggins. She'll take a par here on the second hole.
Ohn's putt has that little bit of wobble, but it's always pretty flat, and I think it cuts to the wind well because of that. The wobble maybe doesn't really matter as much when you hit the nose and wing angle, right? That's going to be a tough one to swallow for Kat, especially after having a birdie opportunity. You got to stare those ones in on those short tap-ins and the headwind sometimes. You never truly believe until they're in sometimes.
I agree. You can't take anything for granted out here.
No. And here we have hole 3. It's a par 4 that tees out of this area with some trees and really opens up in the mid-flight. Big bomber hole. The key is not to let it fade left onto this cart path out of bounds. It's one of those holes that might bait you into doing more than you need to. You really just need to put out a good angle, give yourself a manageable approach. Being so open, it can bait you to doing a lot, and then maybe you miss your angle. So I think really just put some out there, put yourself in maybe that 300 to 330 range in.
Somewhere near the drop zone is a decent landing spot. And Ohn plays it correctly. She keeps it low. As long as it doesn't skip too far left, she should be in a great position.
Yeah,
and that's key in the wind. Keeping it lower is safer. You can often get a lot of ground play out here. You might even misfire and hit the ground early and still go really far. Hailey is out of bounds.
Yeah, I feel especially in the wind, but honestly, I feel like in most situations, missing low on the golf course is almost always going to be a more positive thing than missing high in general.
And I think Jess is looking for that to flex back, but she is also out of bounds. Yeah, it's just best to not even sniff that left side. Don't even go over there. The entire right side is in bounds.
Yeah, and I think when you see a hole this long, it makes you want to throw that distance driver when really some of these players maybe could have played the fairway straight or played a straighter distance driver and not tried to do as much. But a lot of work left for these players.
It's a pretty good looking upshot from Kat Mertsch. She should be able to save par from there. This is a par 4.
I'm going to have to manage a little bit of a downhill run up on some loose footing, so...
The footing is very tricky here.
Yeah, and you can see definitely affected her there a bit, but like Holly said, missing low as Ohn did on both of these shots allows her to pitch up for an easy par, and you know what? She missed a birdie opportunity, but now she gets to move on without losing another stroke to those high mistakes.
King from the drop zone, which I believe is about 330.
So how far did you throw that? 300. Okay.
And she parks it. It's a really
Jessica
good
asked me
upshot.
how far because of how much the tailwind's playing a factor.
Jess taking the hyzer route. Swings it up towards the green. She'll have about a circle's edge putt.
Yeah, good wind to really give that one a bid, but these greens are very fast and most of them are perched on a slope, so it makes you think out here. Ohn pitching up that, looks like a pig maybe that she's been throwing a couple times already.
Just a few times.
Oh, this is a tricky wind, even for a layup, because you really got to put some good spin on it to avoid
Look at it.
something
Look
like
at it.
this.
Is it going to sit down? Oh, I hope it did.
Hopefully it flopped over there, but anytime you come in with low speed and high wind on some slopes, scary stuff can happen.
And Jessica gave it a good bid, and she's right by the basket, so that'll be the easy drop in. Mertsch for par. And that one just got away from her. She was just trying to lay that up right under the basket, and the wind took it.
Oof, and Ohn commits to it, but just gets blown left a little bit and doesn't quite hang in the left side.
And look at the flag. I mean, if the flag and the bush don't show you how extreme the wind is out here. I mean, if you've never played in Las Vegas, you've got to come here, try it out at least once. We have an A-tier side as well. You can join that side, and if you're good enough, maybe one day we'll see y'all on the Pro Tour.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. 3 solid courses out here, and the weather seems to always throw you for a loop here and there. You get the good weather, but
It's the best part about it.
yeah.
This looks perfect. Off the basket. Now it's rolling. It's headed for the OB. This needs to sit. Oh my goodness. It's safe. Right on the line. She's going to have about a 30-foot putt for the win. Okay, here we go. The putt is up. Boom. It's in. Strong side with authority. What an incredible moment. Yes.
Welcome back. Here we are on hole 4. 381 feet, slightly downhill. The cart path on the right is out of bounds, and it does loop around behind the basket. Everything you see left is safe, so you can be conservative and just land anywhere in the green and have an easy par. This is reachable, especially being downhill, so I would expect to see some aggressive shots here trying to get a birdie.
Yeah, the tricky part of this today will probably be some wind off the tail right shoulder. Understanding how flat or how much hyzer to put on the disc is going to be the key here.
Hailey King with about a 45 footer on that elevated basket. It could make you lay it up, though. I think in a regular day, she'd go for it.
Yeah, this is one of those days where making some business decisions early and really making sure you commit to every decision. Oh my gosh, we're seeing some crazy reactions on this ground play where normally that disc rolls 10, 15 feet, curls up, but we get an
Ohn's
extra
in
80 feet there.
Circle 2 of hole 5. Weese is really flexing the forehand today.
Yeah, and this is actually a great win for this shot. It'll really push it straight, and she puts herself inside the pseudo bullseye. Still going to have about 13 feet, and definitely a good putt to get her round going if she can knock this one down.
Cat Mertsch sends it, but it's going a little left. She's got the distance to get to this hole, but that's a pretty long putt. I wouldn't even say that's a putt in this wind.
Yeah, this hole today, if you didn't get it flat out of the hand, that wind was probably bringing you left, and you put any but too much turn, you're just getting smashed down, so it's very tricky.
Within 10 feet from Ohn.
Cat making a smart decision. One of those days, like I said, where just making a couple half bids early can cause some trust issues, and you don't want that out here.
Causing trust issues. Wow, Jessica Weese. What a great birdie to get.
Yeah, really used that wind to her advantage and played against it with the forehand.
As we mentioned earlier, Weese is a former Las Vegas Challenge champion, so she has a lot of experience on how to play these courses. And unfortunately, Hailey does miss that par putt. She smiles about it as she walks away.
A wry smile, though. Windy enough today where on those elevated ones, it makes you just think a little bit more than you'd like to. Card plays this one even today, and the hole played a third of a stroke over par. Hole 5 is a 378-foot par 3 playing out of a gap that is out of bounds kind of off the tee, but most of these players, pretty much all these players in this field are going to hit this gap no problem, no matter. The hard part of it is going to be pushing it far enough, avoiding this bunker on the left, though the wind today should help push you away from it. This is right there in that long distance where a lot of these ladies are maybe going to have to go distance driver and make sure to land it at a good angle.
Couple of different gaps you can take here. There's more of a turnover line or just a straight shot at it, and depending on the wind you might even take to the right of the tree and do like a hyzer in. This sets up nice for Weese's forehand. That angle looks a little strong though.
Ooh, turns into a bit of a thrower, and let's see if it can curl up, but it's gonna find that out of bounds to the right.
I hate that after her birdie on the last one. We heard her say that was a weird wind.
The way she's attacking that wind, that angle on the wing gets so touchy. The backhand definitely is going to be a little easier to handle here, but if you don't get any turn, that wind's just going to lift it up like that.
And these two fairways sort of cross over each other if you sort of veer off the fairway a bit, so oftentimes you're waiting for the other card to play or finish before you can proceed.
Cat finds the inbounds over there, but that disc definitely held a lot longer to the right than she would have liked. Hailey looking to flex on something stable here, and it's fighting back to that edge.
Very aggressive shot. She has a long putt at it. I mean, the flag looks a little more calm, so I hope maybe she gets a chance to run it.
Yeah, I feel like down in this kind of elevation bowl, you might not feel the wind quite as much, but
looks like the tree helped Jessica's upshot.
Sometimes at this point, when you've been dealing with as much wind as we have the last couple of days, we were having 70+ mile per hour gusts a couple of days ago here, you guys, at nighttime. And, just even when it dies a little bit, you don't quite trust that it's dead till the last couple of days.
A good touch shot from Cat. This is Hailey King for birdie.
It's a good bid there. She put the commitment on it, hoping that wind would maybe lift it a bit, but it did not. Just need a little more pace on that one from Jessica.
Ohn for her par.
Ohn decides it's an orange putter, not the yellow, and bangs it in there.
Yeah, I'm a foil person. I like the gold or I like the silver.
Yeah, I typically will have one that I beat in more than another one, then put in a freshie, and I'll kind of use the beat up one for some longer putts here and there. But yeah, I like that fresh one, circle one.
Pretty putter, Hailey.
Hailey with another opportunity to score. She's been throwing the disc well, and we've seen Las Vegas be a thrower's course in the history. Two 1-ups, 1 2-up, and a 3-up. Looking for some birdies here on the 6th, but it's going to be the hardest hole on the course to par today. Playing almost a full stroke over par. This is the infamous Triple Island hole. Playing onto these golf teeing surfaces, that final green is smaller than circle 1, and with as windy as it is today and how fast this ground plays, this hole, it can get pretty tricky. Not gonna lie, I'm kind of glad we're not playing this hole this year.
Yeah, only playing 2 courses this year. The men will not be competing, well, the MPO men will not be competing on this course. Ohn sends it to the right side. She did not make the island, so she's out of bounds and she'll proceed to the first drop zone.
Yeah, big thanks to Jeff and the tournament staff for kind of listening to the players, not making us try to squeeze in three different courses to practice, and letting us really try to get a good game plan for these 2 courses and showcase what we can do out there.
Hailey King, I feel like, was going for the green. What? A kick off the branch onto the island? That's so good. That's champ love.
Yeah, and we've now flipped up directions of play, and we're going directly back into that headwind, which makes this hole just a little trickier, being the first true headwind shot of the round so far.
And Weese for the green. Wow.
Ohn making a very smart decision, not going from the green from the drop zone, just taking it to the next one, understanding that taking an in-control bogey sometimes is better than forcing the issue, taking that double that can just make you start seeing red almost.
And Mertsch island hops to the next island. Oh, I thought Weese went for the green. That was deceiving.
Switching up to something more stable, I would guess. This wind is definitely tricky to throw a touchy short shot on without it standing up on you. Going to the forehand, really showing how comfortable she is with the forehand. It's a range not a lot of players throw forehands at.
Skipped right over the line there.
A little flat, but it fights back and has some integrity.
Inbounds. Ugh, it's so nerve-wracking here.
Yeah, that one scared me. And Ohn even getting a little shoulder turn on that one, putting some extra spin on it, understanding how to cut through that headwind, and Hailey just lets it lift up on her.
2 nose up. The wind got underneath it, so she's now out of bounds. She'll have to go to the drop zone, the second drop zone. That's an easy drop in for her.
Yeah, it's one of those holes you just want to get through.
Yeah, just get away from it.
You don't want it to give you those bad feelings, because it can do it, and it can linger a little bit.
Mertsch with a bogey here on hole 6.
Yeah, and this feature card showing why this hole played so tricky, especially, honestly, a day like today where you've been throwing tailwind, crosswind all day, all of a sudden you have your first headwind shot and you got to throw some touchy, accurate shots. It's a trick. It's quite a test. Pair of 2s, pair of 3s, and we move on to the 7th.
Here we are, hole 7, 358 feet. We do have the OB cart path behind the basket, but everything else is in bounds. This is a birdieable hole. It plays slightly downhill. The green's kind of fast, so you want to land at a good angle to make sure you stick. There's a lot of different ways to attack this hole.
Yeah, you've turned back around now and facing kind of the same direction we started in, though this should be a pretty true right to left wind, once again making that wing angle very touchy on this shot. And Jessica's forehand's going to be able to fight against that wind, and if she gives it some height, it could definitely fight back.
Unfortunately, she threw that one right into the ground, but par is still an option from there. Ohn swings it to the right side, looking for that hyzer finish to get her near the basket and give her a putt. She gets it.
Yeah, looks like she almost crept inside the circle there. We'll see if she has some of those low ceiling branches to deal with or not.
Cat Mertsch, that's going to touch down a bit early and hyzer left, but it's parable from there.
Yeah, it's one of those shots you got to decide, am I going flat straight at it, or am I kind of going out like Ohn did and using that wind to fight back at it? Hailey puts a good move on this one and works past the trees there. Looks like she's on the back side of the green. Putting up at it with a left to right wind. That's a really runnable putt.
This upshot requires a lot of finesse and touch. Very fast green, sloped, OB behind.
Let's see if that tree caught her, and it did. Kept her there.
Perfect. Mertsch gives it a little skip
Cat
shot.
hits the same tree to keep her close. They were both going to be a little further down that hill.
I
And
feel like
think it
they
saved
would
them a
have.
few feet. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, and Ohn has that low stuff to deal with. Asking if she's outside the circle, probably looking to use extra legs and step through it.
Get up. Oh, don't do it to her. Okay, that's not bad. Ohn was actually in front of me today, and we saw her fall down like that, and we were talking about it. If someone who fully commits, it's Ohn or Ellen Widboom.
Nice.
They're good at the falling putts. The legal kind, of course.
Yeah.
Hailey King misses her birdie putt. Had that limb in front of her.
Yeah, and a putt like that just shows you the wind can really just get to your head. Ohn's one of the best putters on the FPO side probably ever.
This is Mertsch for par. That's a good putt. The wind's calmed down for just a moment.
Yeah, that's one of those putts. She had a couple misfires, one off the tee. The approach wasn't quite as crisp as she'd like, and when your putter saves you, it can really keep the round respectable.
That headwind tried to push it out.
Yeah, headwind with
You saw
low
that even
spin.
the
It's
7-footer
like,
was
yeah.
making her nervous. I like it when, you know, the universe gives you a few lull moments where you can run in and make a winless putt.
Here and there, you got to ditch the routine and just take advantage of the opportunity.
Ohn dusting off that missed putt.
Yeah, if you're a player who loves chalk, sometimes you don't even need it out in Las Vegas because your discs are just already dusted up from the dry ground. And here we are, hole 8, our first par 5 of the course at 735 feet. Teeing on kind of an elevated surface down into this valley. It's a beautiful tee shot. You really get to rip on it and try to get as much distance as you can. Second shot, a lot of these ladies will probably be pitching to the left side of the green there, or just short of the green, and trying to chip up from there. Possibly eagleable for some of the longer women in the right wind.
Absolutely. With a good drive, you can certainly get to the green from there. Cat Mertsch has the distance to do it.
Yeah, and they should be playing pretty direct tailwind, a little bit off the right. Just,
That is unfortunate.
yeah, a little
Out
low.
of bounds, cut roller, not in the proper direction.
In this tailwind, you got to bump down in stability to try to drag the disc out, not let it fade so fast, but that gets a little touchy when you're throwing so fast.
And also just hitting the gap off the tee obviously is important. So it could be possibly why they're throwing it so low.
It is a tight enough gap that it does make you tense up a little bit, and if you try to combine that with throwing your max distance, it doesn't always work out well.
Hailey King has a great shot. She's way down the fairway. She could be looking at an easy birdie. It's a good shot from Ohn, too.
This one should skip back nicely. Kind of dead on the ground, but going to be in a good position to choose her fate.
She'll go over there intimidating her card mate.
Kat deciding which side of this little tree she wants to go on. One of those shots you really got to make a decision and commit to it, and don't be half in between this and that.
Okay, a Spike Heiser, that'll do if it stays in.
Ooh. Hard to tell whether that one finished on the road or not. It's going to be, or on the cart path or not. It's going to be close.
And the golf green is out of bounds, so you a lot of times might need to range find it. And this is the play I love, a skip off the golf green over to this safe landing zone. Then you have a short little pitch up to the green.
Yeah,
but I feel like with that distance, Jessica maybe could have even gotten to the green for a putt.
Yeah, I think if she was willing to try to flex that disc over a little longer.
Mm-hmm. And Ohn just playing the placement golf. And she can get a birdie from that position. King with the longest drive. I feel like she's going for the green here.
Forehand into the green, showing off the power that she has. Making that one look easy, y'all.
Drop in eagle?
Yeah. Gonna help
get that round going. Disgusting, Hailey. Wow.
Yeah, and off the tee, she didn't even really have to get that one flat. She played small hyzer out of the hand, just showcasing the power she has and the forehand backhand combination.
And Ohn gets caught up in those branches, but she does land in bounds.
And while, yeah, she might have an easy par, it's one of those holes where if you throw your drive anywhere how you want, you're kind of expecting to give yourself at least a circle one birdie putt.
And Kat Mertsch sends it. It looks a little long, but she's safe.
Yeah, she's been coming out just a little flat and just barely overturned on those past 3 forehand approaches. So let's see if she can make an adjustment next time she pulls that one out.
Weese, she has such good finesse with her touch forehand up shots. I've watched her do it for about 10 years now.
Yeah, it's a tricky part of the game. I haven't quite mastered the touch forehand. It's
I'm working on it myself.
Oh,
ooh.
Oh, and slipping in that left side and letting that tailwind drop her in for the long birdie putt.
And Mertsch had a couple of OBs, so she'll walk away with a double here on the 8th hole.
Yeah, with a player with as much power as Kat, you know, she's looking to get at least a simple birdie, if not a possible look at eagle. So holes like this can be hard to swallow when you try to just do a little more than you need to.
Eagle from Hailey King.
The best
our first
kind too.
eagle of the season.
Was it really?
I mean, here on Ace Run Pro.
True.
The J is our latest mid-range disc. Okay, where the Mako 3 has got a little bit of instability and the Rock's got a little bit more overstability, the J's right between, and you can throw it backhand, you can throw it sidearm, it's good in the wind.
Here we are, hole 9, 390 feet. This is a reachable hole for this card. You can choose to go between these trees that we're currently flying over, or actually fly the disc over them. It's important to pick one because if you're not going to commit, it's likely that your shot will just go right into the trees. The upshot is important here. The green again is sloped like a lot of the greens out here. But I'd like to see some birdie twos from this card.
Oh, a little spider crawl from Hailey. Showing off the strength. You see all kind of stuff at
Kat Mertsch.
the long backups. So.
Yes. Kat Mertsch loves to climb trees. I've seen that from her several times in the past. I don't trust these trees and bushes out here, though,
Yeah.
because I told you earlier, the bush on hole 1, it has teeth. I saw a girl, she hit her head on it, she started bleeding today.
Those are the same type of bushes.
You
just
don't
that
want to
just
mess
trimmed up.
around with those. Okay, Hailey King up first after her incredible eagle, and she chooses to go between the trees.
Oh, just catches that tiny bush and kills her distance. Jessica happened to hop off the back of these tee boxes. You'll notice a lot of these teeing surfaces at the Las Vegas Challenge can be tricky, and that shot is way overturned. But you'll see a lot of tee boxes out here that are either elevated off the backside or off the front, and they really make you have to choose how you want to attack it footwork wise and where you want to plant, whether you want to try to follow through off the box or just half choke it on the back of the box.
And Ohn goes between the trees as well, as does Cat Mertsch with another low shot. I really expected to see something a bit more aggressive from these distance throwers.
Yeah, today's win is proven to put questions into the mind of all the players.
Got a disc search over here.
I mean, just look at that grass over there, guys, if you need to see. If you don't already know how windy it is.
Sometimes I like to pick those and put them in my bag and call them windicators.
I like it. Pro tip there, y'all.
Go.
Asking for that one to go, and just going to be behind that big palmetto. She's going to have to throw that hyzer putt most likely.
Looks like a 50-foot putt for par.
Cat with a little bit too much pace here and catches the base of that tree, puts her close. You'll have to maybe straddle one way or the other, though. And Ohn makes short work of that one.
Great upshot from Ohn. The closer, the better. You could see the wind take that one just a bit, but she'll still have a putt.
Jessica gonna go with the forehand. Will she try to run this?
I've seen her make a lot of putts like this.
Yeah, that's very impressive.
So close.
That is such a scary shot.
Man. Wind to pick up and you will be in there. Dude. That would have been so sick.
Sometimes in those super strong headwind putts, you can kind of just float it at it and hope it just, if it doesn't go in, it just stays at the same distance of the basket because it almost blows backwards.
Mertsch a bit low again on the putt.
And Hailey taps in her par there, putting her at even for the front nine. Ohn also cleaning up her par, put it close with that approach. I think on a day with less wind, this one could be attackable, especially with that backstop, but this wind made it hard today.
Time for that chapstick I sacrificed.
And on a windy day where the course only had 2 holes play under par, we see Ohn Scoggins 2 up, Hailey even, Cat 5 up, and I think that was a 3 up from Jessica.
Let's check out our leaderboard after round 1, front 9.
Looks like we got Rebecca leading the pack, Katrina Henna just behind. Holly, you're right up in there sitting 4th at even through 9. It's been a lot of fun here on the front 9. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notifications button. Ace Run Pro is going to be bringing you guys sweet coverage all season long, and I'm super excited to be partnering with Holly every stop of the way.
We'll catch you on the back half.